Hey friends, it's Gene McNaughton with Success Resources, where our mission is to bring the best in the world to the rest of the world. And this week, as you know, I've been reaching out to my mentors, and I've got John Assaraf. If you don't know who John is, most of you should by this stage. If you've been in personal development, you know who this guy is. From being the star of the movie The Secret, remember, he was the guy that had the vision board of that mansion in Southern California that actually moved into that mansion and went on to tell about it. This is a guy that has 2 New York Times best-selling books. He's been in 9 other movies besides The Secret, including a movie with Richard Branson and the Dalai Lama. And, you know, people always ask me, who do you go to, Gene, when you're trying to figure things out? And John is my main guy. And if you've studied his work, I highly encourage you to do that. He's one of the leading experts on mindset and behavioral studies and applying that to all of us here. And I've been a huge student of his, and I wanted to have John share some of his wisdom. But John, tell me, what's going on? What are you doing with your customers? What are you doing with your team right now?
Hey, Gene, great to be with you, and great to connect with all the people who follow your work and Success Resources. Great company. Listen, I think if we enter right into the dialogue and we really are honest with what's really going on, the answer is people are uncertain. People are feeling scared. People are fearful of what's going to happen to their jobs, what's going to happen to their business, what's going to happen possibly to them personally, you know, if they get this coronavirus or if they have it. And so the studies that we do and the brain studies that we do at my company NeuroGym is really to understand, you know, what's happening in here in our brains, which is, as everybody knows, the most powerful tool in the universe. But specifically, how does that affect our behavior? How does that affect, you know, how we feel? How does that affect, you know, what we end up achieving? And, you know, when you and I had this, you know, little discussion yesterday around, you know, winning that game of fear and winning that game of emotional control, the thing that I've really come to realize, especially in these challenging times, is very few people have a real understanding of their emotions and then how to control their emotions so they actually thrive in this environment instead of either merely survive or, in many cases, a lot of people are going to be 5 years behind where they are right now financially instead of being 5 years ahead because of all the opportunity that is here now. And that's the razor's edge of knowing, you know, how to navigate through this challenging time right now.
Well, I get the feeling of fear, right? I think we've all got it, but it's the uncertainty. It feels like things change, and what's the government going to do? What's our companies going to do? What about uncertainty? Is that the same as fear, or is that different?
Yeah, and if you lean back a little bit, your mic will be even better because you're a little too forward. But so whenever, if we understand, you know, I'll give people just a very, very quick understanding of the brain, right? So the first hierarchy of the brain is our survival, right? So survival of my life. So that's like right up there with oxygen for us. So right now, when we have this coronavirus threat, people are dying every single day all over the world, then there's a real possibility, since this virus is extremely, it's dangerous and it's spreading really fast, that we're going to contract it at some point, right? So that fear is real because we may get it and there's a possibility we may die. So whenever we have, you know, fear for our life, or whenever we have uncertainty around our finances, our job, our businesses, our brain goes into its very, very natural state of fight, flight, flee, or freeze. So it's fight, flight, freeze, or there's 4 of them. Anyway, it's fight, flight, freeze, or faint. And so what happens is that deactivates the motivational center in our brain. And so we're actually not taking the actions we could be, even though there are things that every one of us could be doing right now to master our mindset or even to manage our mindset and our emotions. And so what I'm doing with all of my clients is I'm teaching them, I actually just created a training for them. I'm teaching them, you know, here is what's going on, and here's what's happening in your brain, and here's what to do about it so that you take control instead of allowing this fear to take control of you. And the thing that a lot of people don't understand is the fear center and the stress center and the panic center and the self-doubt center in our brain is the exact same circuit, right? So there aren't like 7 different circuits. There's one circuit that when it activates, it turns on or off other circuits in our brain that causes this automatic behavior and automatic feelings. And because we haven't been taught how to navigate and turn on or off these neural circuits, right, then most people are victims of the circumstance that we're all in right now.
What about, I know if you just get on Facebook and Instagram, it's like, I feel like there's this tremendous amount of distraction happening. Netflix, there's no shortage of, hey, I watched this on Netflix, you need to binge on this. And I feel like that it's a way just to get out of the reality of the situation. I think people feel stuck.
Well, there are certain people that feel stuck, and those are the freezers, right? So whenever there's an enormous amount of stress that they don't know how to handle, some people just freeze, and then they revert to the easiest thing to do, and that in some cases is distraction. So instead of dealing with the potential threat head on in a methodical, organized, proper process, they freeze. And they do something else like get distracted on television. I have a good friend of mine, just this morning, it's actually his birthday today as you and I are talking. And he says, I watched the series of Ozarks all night till 7 o'clock this morning. Just came out yesterday or the day before. He watched like 9 episodes. And this is a friend of mine who can use a lot of help to make more money right now. Because he was just telling me, oh my God, I've got to, lay off a couple of employees. We're not going to have any revenue for 9 days. I said, what the F are you doing watching Ozarks for 9 hours when there's so much amazing personal development stuff you could do to be able to level up your knowledge and skill right now and actually beat your competition? And he goes, well, because I just needed a distraction. I said, I know, but you did the same thing 4 or 5 days ago with another series.
Right. Hey, John, one of my favorite sayings, and I want to get your take on how this applies today. And I heard this from Tony Robbins and I heard it from you. We tend to radically overestimate what we can do in 30 days. We radically underestimate what we can do over the course of 12 months or 2 years. What's your take on that right now?
Well, right now, we all have cognitive biases, right? And we have some very optimistic cognitive biases and some very pessimistic or negative cognitive biases. And so right now is the time to level up your knowledge and your skills. I want everybody to think about this, right? In every single, whether it's recession, depression, war, whatever it is you want to look at, from 9/11 to the 2008, 2009 crash to what's happening right now, there are people who actually thrive.
Yes.
And there are people who actually get decimated. Why? Is it possible, is it possible that one of the key factors is their mindset and what they are focusing on? Listen,
it has to be. It has to be that.
Right? Our brain, and this is why I study the brain so much, our brain has got this uncanny ability to be able to laser focus on whatever it is that we choose. So if we're choosing to find all of the negative reasons why we can't, or it's hard, or it's not possible because of what's happening, then our brain actually processes all the information that's incoming based on that paradigm and that frame.
Right.
But if we focus on, okay, this is happening, agree, but how can I take advantage of this? Not take advantage of others, but take advantage of the situation. Then our brain says, okay, let me help you figure that out. And this is a fine line that you can train yourself to have so that you end up being healthier, happier, wealthier, in a better position. And I mentioned earlier, there will be some people that are going to be 5 to 10 years behind because of what's happening right now. And there are going to be some people that'll be 5 to 10 years ahead because of what's happening right now. The key now is, how do I manage my mindset and my emotions? Especially, I have to win the game of fear of being embarrassed, ashamed, ridiculed, judged, fear of failing, fear of succeeding and failing, fearing I may not have enough knowledge or skills. When we manage that most powerful biocomputer in the known universe, then we are able to take circumstances and mold them to our advantage versus circumstances crushing us.
John, you've been doing this for how many years now? How long have you been just studying the brain, other than your personal success, but
at least 30.
studying and teaching?
But for the last 10 years, I've really made it my concentrated effort with my team of experts at Harvard and Princeton and Oxford and the team that I've put together that are part of our advisory board to really understand what's the latest, the greatest, and the best information on the brain. And then how do we give it to people so that they can maximize using the most powerful tool in the known universe?
Hey, John, you kind of glazed over this, but you said you've created a program and it's a free program, right? That you're sending out to all your customers or all your clients?
All of our people who follow my work and our customers, I created this video training on winning the game of fear. And I'm giving it to people to watch for free if they want. And if you'd like, I can give you a link and you can give it to your followers and let them win the game of fear. And this will not only help them with what's happening right now to really, win the game of fear, but if anybody that's watching has a fear of taking action, a fear of failing, a fear of doing their best and being embarrassed or shamed or judged, this training will be transformational for you and it'll impact you in such a positive way, especially right now. It's a game changer.
So this is something we can send out. I'll just attach it. You have a link you can send me or something like that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So it's
on the page somewhere.
I'll put it on when we distribute this video. I'm going to put this on the text, the email, the social media feed. So everybody, this is a gift on how to get out of fear and uncertainty and move into confidence, planning, anticipation. Because let's face it, the government's going to help most people. We don't really know the details. Every report that gets looked at, that I look at, and I'm studying this, has different contradictions. I don't know if you're seeing the same thing, John.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of misinformation out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a lot of business owners that follow my work and a lot of clients. And so I've got my accounting team and my legal team looking at stuff right now. We're disseminating information to people. Yep. But here's the thing that I want people to understand as well. In a state of overwhelm of information, right information, wrong information, not knowing which is right or wrong, that's going to create confusion in the brain, and that's going to create chaos. And that means that the stress center gets activated, and that means that the motivational center gets deactivated, means that the thinking part of the brain gets deactivated, and then most people will either fight, run away, freeze in place, and that's the natural reaction of the brain. You can learn how to recognize it and teach yourself how to focus on what you're going to do to succeed and thrive instead of just survive.
Got it. Thank you so much for that. So we're going to attach the link. John's got free trainings. It's video based, I'm assuming, and it's going to come right to your inbox. So grab that link and hop on that training with John Assaraf. Now, if anybody's followed my career, you know that I always talk about my mentors, whether it was my virtual mentors early in the career, Zig Ziglar and Tom Hopkins and Jim Rohn, or my true real life mentors, starting with working as the right-hand man of Tony Robbins. And after I left Tony, I was this guy's right-hand man. And the benefit that I get is I get to see these guys behind the scenes, not just what they're teaching, because I was already a fan of what they were teaching, but watch these guys walk their talk. And, it's no secret that I reach out to my mentors just like you should be in times of challenge, difficulty, or there's a huge opportunity. I would just want to get independent counsel, and John's one of my guys. So when he told me yesterday that he was building this training to send out to his people, the millions that follow him, I'm like, can we get that at Success Resources? He said yes. So John, super cool. I haven't been through it yet. So as soon as that link gets produced, I'm going to go through it. Awesome. Right away, so I can, part of what my role is to be the conduit of great information to all of you that are fans of Success Resources, that have been to events, that have taken the action, and the power of personal development. So I'm going to keep bringing you the world's greatest, and John Assaraf is one of those. So grab that link, hop on the training, send some feedback. If you want to text me, email me, there's going to be feedback loops, I'm sure, on the video series, but get this spread out to everybody. Right now, the best thing you can do is work on yourself and then Translate that to your family, translate that to your kids, translate that to the people that you're most connected with, that maybe they're not as advanced as you are as it relates to knowing the power of personal development. We ask that you share this and make sure that, you know, we can make a positive dent in this world of uncertainty, fear, doubt, anxiety. We're all experiencing it. And that's why I wanted to bring John to you, because he's the world's best.
Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, everybody. Grab the link. Get on now. We're going to have more stuff coming your way, but nobody better than John Assaraf in times of struggle or in times of massive opportunity. And what John's saying is the people that have their heads on straight, that are self-developing right now, that are aware, that are dealing with fear and doubt, the people that navigate that the best are going to come out of this at massive acceleration a year from now.
Absolutely. You know what they say, mindset is what separates the rest from the best.
So true. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching this short video. And John, you're a blessing. Thank you very much.